Hello and welcome to my YouTube video. In this video I'm going to demonstrate how to weave in the ends at the end of a round and at the beginning of the round when working in the round, of course. So this is our last stitch that we bound off, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pull the yarn through, all the way through. So this is the last bound off stitch. Here is the first bound off stitch right here. And what I'd like you to do before you do this is realize that for each column of stitches there's a bound off stitch above it. So here's a bound off stitch, the next column here's a bound off stitch, the last column here's the bound off stitch. Let's go over and look at the first column. Here's the first column and here's the bound off stitch for that first column. So we're going to be using this space right here. So what we're going to be doing is we've identified this, we're going to be duplicate stitching over this last column. So that means we're going to be going over to here, because we're going to make a duplicate stitch right here. We're going to go underneath both these legs from front to back, two legs, and pull it up. Now we have a bind off stitch for this column. We're making the bind off stitch for this column, and we have a bind off stitch for this column. Once we've gone under there, we're going to go back down through. This is the last stitch that we made, the last bind off stitch that we made when we were binding off. We're going to go down under the back leg to the back and pull this around, and now we have a perfect strand of bind off stitches, a perfect line, and no jog on the front of the work. Then we would weave this in on the back side using duplicate stitch. For several stitches, 3 or 4 stitches. I'm just going to stop there, but you would do a couple more. Doesn't that look nice? Now let's talk about the cast on edge. Now this was a standard long tail cast on, and I didn't do anything fancy. I just started casting on, and I do not use a slip knot. I'll put a video over here about how I do the long tail cast on without a slip knot. So now we're going to think about how can we make this match. Okay, so now we're working on the cast on tail, and I've threaded it onto my tapestry needle. So we can see the swoops coming along here. That's the thumb yarn, and the swoops going over here. We just want to make a new swoop and make it fit right in, just like that. So we've got this. I'm just taking it just like this and making it fit in. So if we're going to take it down right here behind this stitch, and let's take a look at that. Oops, I pulled it too tight. That looks pretty darn good. Do you see that? Then we're going to weave in the end, same as we did before, for 2 or 3 stitches. This is like so easy, but the key is that you cannot do anything fancy for that join when you're joining in the round. My tail's kind of short, but you're just going to weave up and down, duplicate stitch just like we did on the other end. Looks good. If you enjoy my videos and if you found this helpful, give me a thumbs up down there. I appreciate it. Share my videos with your friends. Subscribe if you haven't already. There's the video for this is going to be linked over here on this side if you would want to watch the video on doing the Latvian braid, and I actually show how to weave in the ends so that it makes it continuous across here, jogless. I hope you come back and watch some more. Happy knitting.